Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Drama all over this Tuesday with episodes of Escape, the second and final concluding part of Earth Abides, starring John Dehner, The Whistler, The Lineup, Mandel Kramer as yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and Superman. That's all ahead on this Tuesday. This is the 12th day of November, 317th day of the year, 49 days left till we get to 2025. This is an important day, November 12th, back in 1955. At least in the Back to the Future trilogy. It was the date of the famous Hill Valley lightning storm that sent Marty McFly back to 1985 in his DeLorean time machine, and it was the date Marty got his parents together. Now, in Back to the Future Part 2, Marty and Doc Brown returned to the date to stop Biff Tannen from changing history. Doc Brown hypothesizes the date might hold some special significance, being the temporal junction point for the entire space-time continuum. Or as he said, it could just be an amazing coincidence. 1439, Plymouth, England became the first town incorporated by the English Parliament. 1918, Austria became a republic. 1927, Leon Trotsky expelled from the Soviet Communist Party, leaving Joseph Stalin with undisputed control of the Soviet Union. The Holland Tunnel opened to traffic on this date in 1927 as the first Hudson River vehicular tunnel linking New Jersey to New York City. 1933, Hugh Gray took the first known photos of the Loch Ness Monster. It was in 1934 the musical Babes in Toyland debuted, featuring Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy as comic relief. Now in 1936, the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge opened to traffic in California. In 1946, a branch of the Exchange National Bank in Chicago opened the first 10 drive-up teller windows. In 1979, in response to the hostage situation in Tehran, President Jimmy Carter ordered a halt to all petroleum imports into the U.S. from Iran.
I am ordering that we discontinue purchasing of any oil from Iran for delivery to this country.
The price of oil doubled to $39.50 a barrel. Gas prices surged from 90 cents to $1.25 a gallon. The equivalent today would be $3.82 to $5.30 a gallon. Same type of hike. And oil today is right around $70 a barrel, depending on the day, give or take $1 or $2. 1980, the NASA space probe Voyager 1 made its closest approach to Saturn. In 1982, Yuri Andropov became the General Secretary of the Soviet Communist Party's Central Committee, succeeding the late Leonid Brezhnev. In 1982, Lech Walesa, Solidarity leader, released from a Polish prison after 11 months. 1997, Ramzi Youssef found guilty of masterminding the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. 1998, Daimler-Benz completed a merger with Chrysler to form Daimler Chrysler. In 2001, in New York City, an Airbus A300 carrying American Airlines flight 587 crashed minutes after takeoff from JFK International Airport, killing all 260 on board.
It's like, Mommy, what is it, a terrorist attack?
Big explosion. I ran out of the house and just saw flames shooting up in the sky.
All these houses bounced.
People were very nervous about it, considering it was very shortly after the September 11 attacks, back just a month earlier. Now, in 2001, on that same date, Taliban forces abandoned Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, ahead of advancing Afghan Northern Alliance troops. In 2003, in Nasiriyah, Iraq, at least 23 people, among them the first Italian casualties of the 2003 Iraq War, killed in a suicide bomb attack on an Italian police base. 2004, Scott Peterson found guilty of first-degree murder of his wife Lacey Peterson and their unborn son Connor after a 5.5-month-long trial. And 2021, the L.A. Superior Court formally ended the 14-year conservatorship over popular singer Britney Spears. Passing away on this date, From Stalag 17, the movie, William Holden. Our Miss Brooks, Eve Arden, passing away on this date. White House Chief of Staff H.R. Haldeman. Blondie star Penny Singleton. From Rosemary's Baby and Stepford Wives, the novelist Ira Levin. And comic writer from Marvel Comics, Stan Lee, passing away on this date. Birthdays on this date include the wonderful Joe Stafford.
The hits of the 50s, 1952.
See the pyramids along the Nile. Watch the sunrise on a tropic isle. Just remember, darling, all the while you belong to me.
Joe Stafford, You Belong to Me. Joe Stafford, born on this date in history. Actor Jack Oakey, also born on this date. Supreme Court Justice Harry Blackmun. Actress Kim Hunter. Princess Grace of Monaco. Grace Kelly, born on this date. From the Four Seasons, Bob Crewe, born on this date. Also born today, cult leader, mass murderer Charles Manson. And judge and boxing referee Mills Lane all celebrate birthdays on the 12th day of November.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Birthday number 81 for Brian Hyland.
1960.
She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was afraid that somebody would say,
2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
it was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so in the locker she wanted to stay.
Brian Hyland's big hit, Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. 81 years old today is Brian Hyland. From My Dinner with Andre and Princess Bride, Inconceivable, Wallace Shawn, 81 today as well. From Booker T and the MGs, Booker T. Jones is 80.
1962.
Green Onions, Booker T. Jones, 80 years old today. Sportscaster Al Michaels is 80. From Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Neil Young is 79.
1972.
I wanna live, I wanna give. I've been a miner for a heart of gold. It's these expressions I never give that keep me searching for a heart of gold. And I'm getting old.
Neil Young's only number one hit, Heart of Gold. Neil Young, 79 years old today. From Will and Grace, Megan Mullally is 66.
I'm sorry, you must have mistaken me for somebody else. My name is Anastasia Beaverhausen.
Okay, Megan Mullally, 66 today. Romanian gymnast Nadia Comaneci, 63 today. Figure skater Tanya Harding, 54. From The Notebook, Ryan Gosling is 44.
It's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard. And we're going to have to work at this every day, but I want to do that because I want you.
Ryan Gosling, 44 years old today. And from The Princess Diaries and The Devil Wears Prada, Anne Hathaway is 42.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high, life worth living. I dreamed that love would never die.
Oh, yes, she did win an Academy Award for Les Miserables. Anne Hathaway, 42 today. Those just a few of the people celebrating the 12th day of November is their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you!
Classic Radio Theater rolls on this Tuesday with Escape, Part 2 of Earth Abides, starring John Dehner, from this date, 74 years ago, November 12th, 1950. That's next.
No one knows when disaster might strike. It could come in the form of hurricane, flood, blizzard, or fire, or by enemy attack. So it's wise to be prepared for any emergency. It's wise to take a Red Cross first aid or home nursing course. At least one member of each family should know how to take care of an injured person. Remember, in time of disaster, doctors, nurses, and other medical personnel will be difficult, if not impossible, to find. So take a Red Cross first aid or home nursing course now.
We continue now on Classic Radio Theater with Escape. 74 years ago, November 12th, 1950, Earth Abides.
You, finding life rather dull, dreaming again of exotic places, wishing you were somewhere else, we offer you Escape.
Today, with the performance of John Dehner as Isherwood Williams, Escape brings you one of the most unusual and terrifying stories of recent years. George Stewart's powerful novel, Earth Abides.
If you should awake some morning, tomorrow morning, let's say, if you should awake to a man-dead world where virtually all of human life had been destroyed from the face of the earth, leaving behind only buildings, bridges, machines, if you should awake to such a world tomorrow morning, what would you do? Where would you go? This is the year 3. My name is Isherwood Williams. It's 3 years since I returned from the lonely mountain country of Northern California to find that mankind had virtually vanished from the earth. Some unknown virus had scourged him from his high place among animals. His great cities were tombs. His entire civilization was crumbling. I toured the emptiness that had once been called America. From the silent towers of Manhattan to the Golden Gate Bridge, I saw in all 10 human beings still alive. In the 4th month after my return to San Francisco, I saw a light on Nob Hill. It was there I found Em, who became my wife. Year 1 passed. We call it the year of the baby. Year 2, we call the year of the rats. Now it was year 3. Em, the baby, and I were struggling for existence amid the fast decaying wealth of San Francisco.
Oh.
All right, now be careful. Careful, Em.
Isn't it funny? This always makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong.
What?
Not breaking into the biggest food store on Market Street.
It's not wrong, Em. There's no private property anymore. This city, this grocery store, it's all ours now.
But Ish, look. Look at this place.
The rats left their mark here, all right. There's the answer to their death. They ate all the food they could get at, then they ate each other.
Oh, Ish, how horrible.
It's a familiar pattern, Em. A species grows, dominates the earth for a short time, then dies. Oh, come on. We'll take a look at the bottles and the canned goods.
Ish, look, the labels are gone. They're eaten off.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to try to guess at the contents by the shape of the can.
Well, the bottles are easy. Here, look. Bottles of real lemon juice.
Fine. This should be corned beef.
Look at it all. Tons of it. We could live on just this forever.
No, Em. We can't be scavengers forever. That's why the rats died. Em, we've got to grow things. We've got to bring something new into the world. Oh, come on. Let's get some of this stuff home. During that year, Em and I found whatever we needed for ourselves and the baby in the empty, silent stores of San Francisco. We lived on the spoiling supplies of 1 million people. One evening, just after dusk, I suddenly noticed a strange, wavering glow in the sky over the downtown area of the city. I called Em to the window. There was a smell of smoke in the air. Fire, Em!
Ish.
San Francisco is on fire!
Ish. Isn't there something we can do?
No. If there were, must be 3 square miles of flame.
What started it, do you suppose?
We'll never know. Oily rags in the basement, some gasoline explosion. Could be any one of 1,000 causes.
Will it reach the house?
No, I don't think so. Wind's blowing it away from us. It'll burn itself out in a day or 2.
We'll come away from the window.
Em? Em, do you smell gas?
I don't know.
Smells like it to me.
Open the door to the hall.
Yeah. Hey! Hey, the hall is filled with it. Hey, we've got to get out of here. Gas line must have burst. One spark in this place will blow up like a bomb.
Baby, I'll get the baby.
All right. We'll be safe from the fire escape. Hurry, Em. Here, I'll take the baby.
Be careful.
Now just hang onto the rail and walk slowly. Come on. We started down the fire escape. In the distance, the flames were gutting the heart of the city. Parts of Chinatown were already gone. Kept going down to street level, and then we started running. Any second, a spark could blow the building to dust, and we ran, our breath tearing in our throats. Back against the wall, Em. The shockwave. Em, you all right?
Hold me close.
It's all over, Em. We're going to be all right. We moved to another section of town that had been spared by the fire. The days passed, days and the weeks. Em and I were growing tired of the canned foods and wanted some fresh vegetables and fruit. But we needed a car. One day, Em and I found a Jeep in a garage. In the storeroom, I found new tires to replace the rotted ones the Jeep had been standing on.
Will it work?
Well, after 2 years, hard to say. I'm no mechanic.
All the cars to choose from, and we picked something like this. I always wanted a convertible. Maybe a Cadillac or a Packard.
This is more useful and more durable. Besides, it's all we need. All right, Em. Let's try it. Step on the starter. No. All right, now try it. Oh, come on. Come on, start. Oh. Good, come on. Good. Oh, come on.
Ish, you did it.
One night, several months later, Em shook me awake.
Ish.
Huh?
Ish, wake up. There's something outside moving around.
What?
Right by the window.
Give me the hammer.
Be careful, Ish.
I'll be all right.
I'll come with you.
Now, stay here. I'll be right back. Who's there? Who's there? Girl. Come here. Oh, I won't hurt you. Come here. What are you doing?
Eileen. My name is Eileen.
Where are you from?
Eileen. Hungry.
Well, come on inside.
Eileen. Oh, I've been looking all over for you. Eileen, where have you been? Okay, mister. You can put that hammer down. I ain't going to hurt you.
Oh, sure. Well, come on inside. Em! Em, somebody's here.
Just Eileen and me. She's my adopted daughter. About a year ago, I found her on Main Street in Los Angeles. She was starving. Can't forage for herself, Eileen can't, so I got to take care of her. She can't think so good.
Well, how long you been here?
About 2 days, wandering around the city. Nice city, this San Francisco. Wished I'd have visited here when it had people. Reckon I really could have had myself a time.
I'll get you two something to eat.
Well, that's mighty nice. Oh, by the way, I sure am an impolite cuss. If my name's Ezra, I don't believe I caught yours.
Isherwood. This is M.
Well, I'm happy to know you. Eileen, looks like we've met up with some real nice people.
Ezra and his new daughter Eileen stayed with us, made their home in the house next door. Now the year 3 has passed. We called it the Year of Ezra. November, the year 4. A woman came a week ago. She had dark hair, dark eyes. She was alone. Ezra has taken her for his wife. June 9th, the year 5, our second son was born this day. We named him Joey. April, the year 6, 2 men and a woman have come. George says he's a carpenter. Harry worked in the bank. Well, he'll have to learn a trade. The woman is called Mabel.
Ish, you better come with me.
Well, what's the matter?
The water. It stopped running in the faucets.
Well, maybe it's just a broken pipe in your place.
No, I checked, and it ain't just my place. I've checked all the houses around, and there ain't any water running in any of them.
Maybe it's a water main under the street.
I don't think so. You know what I think?
What?
I think the water stopped way up in the mountains someplace. Ish, San Francisco's going dry.
In 2 weeks, not a drop of rain. Ezra, we can't go on boiling the water forever. If we're going to live, we've got to get out of here.
Yeah, but there's still all them canned goods.
That's what's wrong, Ezra. We've been living off the old instead of building something new. Look, we've got to forget that water ran out of faucets and vegetables come in cans. We've got to start growing things ourselves.
We will when the time comes, I reckon.
You better come quick.
What is it, Em?
Eileen.
What's the matter with her?
She must have been drinking polluted water.
Typhoid.
What does the book say, Ish? What are we going to do?
Isolate the others. Mabel can nurse Eileen.
What do we do for her? What's the treatment?
You can't shorten the disease, it says. All you can do is help make it less severe. Now, don't worry, Ezra. We'll do our best.
Eileen, she's so helpless. She don't understand.
Yeah, but you move in with us. If this thing spreads, it can wipe out all of us.
Ish, another case.
Who is it?
George.
Move him in with Eileen. Get another bed in there.
You won't have to.
What do you mean?
Eileen's dead.
This is the year 6, a year of disease and death. I went to the drugstores, walking the misty, dark streets of the city armed with my medical text, my hammer. I raided the dusty shelves and the long, warm refrigerators of the pharmaceutical departments. The wonder drugs had long since rotted in their vials. Some sulfur was still potent, and I used it liberally. Yet case after case of typhoid broke out. Some lived, most died, including our firstborn. Our little community, upon which I had pinned the hopes of a new birth of mankind, had dwindled from 12 persons to 7. 5 adults, only 2 children.
You've got to get some sleep, Ish.
How many of us are left, Em? Count 'em for me.
Ezra, George, Mabel. Our second son, Joey, and Ezra's boy. You and I.
Oh, Em. And what's the good of starting again? We're being exterminated from the earth, every small being of us, so things can become green again.
There are 7 of us, Ish. Once there was only me, and once there was only you. Alone and separated. There are still 7.
Oh, Em. Em, what would I do without you?
Go to sleep.
Well, you won't make the mistake a second time. Won't be any looking back. You'll forget the trains that used to run, and the tall buildings, and the soft food. We'll go back to the earth. Back to the earth, Em. Back to the earth. We left San Francisco, we few survivors. We packed only the essentials, the machines, the conveniences. We left to the sun and the wind. From this time on, we'd work in the soil. The decay of the old times was behind us now. We went south and east until we came to a watered land, green with growing things. This would be our Eden. Here, without the memories of a dead people about us, we would begin mankind again. Come here, Joey.
Yes, Daddy.
Joey, here. Sit down here next to me. I want to ask you some questions.
Sure.
Now, first of all, what year is this?
Oh, that's an easy question. The year 15.
Joey, did you do your reading today?
Sure.
You like to read.
Yeah.
Joey, there's something I want to tell you. You know, there were once a lot of people like us on Earth. Millions. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I read about them. They could fly.
That's right. Well, someday there'll be millions of people again. And they'll fly again, years from now. But after I'm gone, there won't be anybody to show them the way. That's why I'm depending on you.
What am I supposed to do?
Learn, read, study. You're going to lead them someday, Joey, after I'm gone. Don't let them go back. You don't understand.
I think I do.
Oh, well, you will. Oh, look. I want to show you what I made this morning.
What is it?
It's called a bow. The guns won't be good much longer. The powder will get rotten. Guns will get rusty. You can hunt with this, kill animals for food. Here, look here, see? I carved it out of willow. Then I strung strips of calf hide from one end of the bow to the other. And now watch this. See here, this is the arrow.
That's fun. Let me try.
All right, here.
Like this?
That's right. Now pull back. Hard. No. Hard. There. Now, let go.
Boy, that's swell. Can I take it outside and play with it?
Sure, but be careful with it.
Hey, Billy, look what I got. Hey, Billy!
It took thousands of years for man to pass from the spear to the bow and arrow. I've just done it in 5 minutes. This is the year 19. I have gray hair. It's odd to think of myself as an old man. Well, I'm not really 51. There are 19 numbers in a smooth piece of rock in the meadow that I chipped in with my hammer and chisel. My hammer. What would I do without my hammer? Everything is going along well. Quite a farmer now. Community is growing. There are 45 of us. Strangers that drifted in. Babies born. Maybe man is something you can't quite kill off. A stranger named Charlie came in today. I don't like him. He's gruff and hard. And his eyes... I don't like his eyes.
Sure, 3 men at a time.
Gee, Charlie, how'd you do it?
With my bare hands. Came at me all at once. I grabbed two of them and banged their heads together. They cracked like coconuts. Then the other one I knocked down and stepped on his face. Wasn't much left of him after I got through.
Gee.
It's time for bed, Joey.
Oh, can't he tell one more, Dad?
Maybe some other night.
Okay. Good night, Dad. Good night, Charlie.
Good night, Joey.
Will you come tomorrow night?
Maybe. Great kid you got there.
What did you do in the old times, Charlie?
Oh, a lot of things. For a while I was a stickman in Las Vegas. Used to be a fighter, too. A lot of things, you name it.
You intend to stay?
Sure I intend to stay. Why not? No other place to go. This is the only good-sized group of human beings I've seen. And believe me, I've been around. Sure, I'll stay.
Everybody works. It's the only way we can live.
Listen, you. If I want to stay, I'll stay, and I'll stay on my own terms. I don't ask anything from anybody. I live my own way. You better understand that right now.
And you better understand something before we go any further, Charlie. I've been elected to leadership in this town, and we aren't a bunch of independent individuals doing what we please. We're a community, working together. Either you accept that, or get out.
We ain't gonna get along, Mr. Isherwood Williams. And I'm staying. Good night.
Gunshots! Ish, what is it?
I don't know.
Don't go out there, Ish.
Ish, he's roaring drunk.
Where is he?
Right outside.
Yeah. What's the matter? Are you afraid? Come on out!
Ish. Ish, don't go.
Well. The great Isherwood. Howdy, Isherwood.
Put down that gun, you crazy fool.
Let go.
Down.
Let go of me.
Ish, are you all right?
Never mind me. Get that gun away from him. Get George.
Yeah. Where's George? Bring George. Let's see George take this gun away from me. Hey, George, come on and try to take this thing away from me.
Hey, what's going on here? Charlie, give me that gun.
Nobody's taking my gun away. It's mine.
Charlie.
What's mine is mine. Stay away.
Give me that gun.
Stay away, George. Stay away. I told him to stay away.
George. George!
He's dead. All right, you. You've done enough damage with that thing. Hand it over.
There's only one answer. Death.
Death. You mean kill him? Murder him?
No, it's not murder, Em. You and Mabel and Ezra and I, we're the government now. We've been elected, Council of 4. There isn't any government but us. It's not a matter of punishment. It's protecting the community from a menace, and that's what Charlie is.
But he was drunk.
All the more reason he might do it again.
Afraid so, Em. We can't take the chance.
We're like a jury.
Let's vote. We've got all the facts.
The vote's been called. Any questions?
Ish, is it right? Is it right to take a human life?
To save many lives, yes, Em. It's got to be right. We'll take a voice vote. You first, Mabel. What do you say?
Death.
Ezra?
Death.
Em? Well, how do you vote, Em?
Death.
It's unanimous. We'll carry out the sentence tomorrow morning. The Council of 4 had made its decision. This was not killing in passion or rage or hatred. This was the deliberate and sane elimination of an enemy. Early in the morning, we tied Charlie to an oak tree. Ezra took Charlie's revolver. Charlie stared at him with childish disbelief. He gasped, slumped into his ropes, his mouth red with blood, his eyes swollen in death. The power of the new state was born.
Grandfather? Is it the new year now?
Yes, Carl. New Year. Here, carry my hammer for me.
No.
It won't hurt you. My hammer. Here.
No, I don't want it.
Why not?
It's magic.
Magic? My hammer?
Aunt Phyllis says your hammer's magic. She says you're magic.
Carl, it's just a plain, ordinary hammer. No. Carl, don't be afraid.
No, it's magic. You're magic.
Dad.
Hello, Joey.
Carl, go and play.
Sure, Dad. Goodbye, Grandfather.
Joey, what's the matter with them? They say I'm magic. My hammer is magic.
You're a legend, Dad. You're the only one left out of them all. Ezra, George, Mabel, Mother M, all gone now. Only you. The hammer's a symbol. Symbol of leadership.
Yes, that's the way things happen.
You're the only one that's lived through from the old times.
The only one. The only one. Joey.
Yes, Dad?
I'm old. Very old, and I can't see very well. Did I make the numbers clearly?
Yes, Dad. 48. The year 48.
It's all begun again. Life. Generations and generations. Oh, M. If you could have lived to see your faith come true. And once there were only the two of us, alone and separated. I want to see the old once more before I die. Just once more. The bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge.
We're here, Dad.
How does it look, Joey? Tell me. How does the Golden Gate Bridge look?
It's old and rusty, but it's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Is there a car? Small car on the bridge?
Yes, Dad, it's still there.
Can you still see buildings across the water?
Only a few, Dad. It's mostly overgrown. But the hills behind the city are beautiful today.
Good. Joey, here. Here's the hammer.
Yes, Dad.
You're the new leader now. The hammer has always been the symbol. Pass it on to the best of them. And, Joey, don't let them make a god of you. Let knowledge be the watchword. Oh, will you understand, Joey?
I understand, Dad.
Know the earth, Joey. Know the earth.
Dad. Oh. Men go and come. But the earth abides.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. You have just heard Earth Abides by George Stewart, especially adapted for Escape by David Ellis. John Dehner was starred as Ish with Peggy Weber as M. Featured in the cast were Michael Ann Barrett, Parley Bear, Jeffrey Silver, Paul Frees, Lou Krugman, and Larry Dobkin. The special music for Escape was arranged and conducted by Ivan Ditmars. Stay tuned now for Make Believe Town, which follows immediately on most of these same CBS stations. Roy Rowan speaking for CBS, where you spend an hour with Frank Sinatra every Sunday afternoon on the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Some changes were made in the scripting and the adaptation because you had to cut it down to just an hour. If you'd tried to do the whole thing, it would take several hours. But I encourage you to read the book if you find this of interest. Earth Abides, starring John Dehner. If you go to classicradio.stream, you can find a link to get the book from Amazon. Let's see, 74 years ago, November 12th, 1950, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Up next, The Whistler.
When buying your emergency food and water supply, choose foods that provide a well-balanced diet. For instance, canned soups, fruits, vegetables, fruit juices, packaged cereals, and dried foods are excellent for storing. Raisins and chocolate are good energy-building foods and take up little storage space. Avoid storing salty foods because they will only add to the problem of drinking water. Remember, in case of attack, your emergency food and water supply may have to last your family 2 weeks.
And do that now, not just for nuclear disaster, but quite frankly, we have some issues coming with supply chains and the like. You need to be prepared. Now we're going to go back 79 years to November 12th, 1945. An episode of the Signal Oil program from the West Coast, The Whistler. And this episode entitled The Seeing Eye.
The Signal Oil program, The Whistler. That whistle is your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
Yes, friends, it's time for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler. Remember, let every traffic signal remind you, with Signal, new Signal gasoline, you do go farther than ever. Look for Signal's big yellow and black circle sign that identifies those popular Signal stations in 7 western states from Canada to Mexico. And now the Whistler's strange story, The Seeing Eye.
There was only one love in the life of Captain Martin Quiss. It wasn't money. He'd long since made more than enough to retire comfortably. And it wasn't women or liquor or self-indulgence. Captain Quiss was part of the sea. It had been his home and his life since the day in 1907 when he signed aboard a purse seiner out of New Bedford as an apprentice seaman. But a love as strong as that of Captain Quiss for the sea can be dangerous. It can blind a man to more important things like human decency and justice. It can lead to compromise and ruin. The closing chapter in the career of Martin Quiss began on a stormy night off the Florida Keys, aboard the steamer Carson City out of New Orleans, bound for Portland, Maine. The night wind, pushing up strong from the east, had reached gale strength when the cabin door burst open.
What's the matter, Grant?
What are we running here, a ship or a nursery?
Now, wait a minute.
You wait a minute.
Well, address me properly or not at all.
All right, Captain Quiss, sir.
That's better. Now, what's the matter, Mr. Grant?
The first mate's drunk again. He just ordered me off the bridge.
That's a serious charge, Mr. Grant.
I'm not making charges, Captain. This isn't the pink tea at the Mariners Club. We're in dangerous waters.
Ryder is perfectly capable.
I tell you, he's drunk. He has no right to be on that bridge. If you don't believe me, call him.
Very well, Mr. Grant.
Bridge.
Ryder?
First mate Ryder in the bridge, sir. Lights are bright, all's well.
Ryder, Grant has a watch until 8 bells.
It's all right, Quiss. Got everything under control. Tell Grant to turn in.
Listen, Ryder.
Never mind, Quiss. Don't worry, little head. I'm in charge here. Yep. I'm in charge.
What did he say?
Mr. Ryder's in charge. He's perfectly capable of standing the watch if he chooses.
Now, wait a minute. Let's skip the double talk. It's my watch. My name's on the log. It's my responsibility to see that this ship stays on its course for the next 3 hours.
You'd better go to your quarters, Mr. Grant.
Captain Quiss, don't you care what happens to your ship?
Mr. Ryder's been sailing for 15 years.
Yeah, and every time he gets a few drinks under his belt, he thinks he's Columbus. This isn't the first time, Captain. He's done it before. I can't understand why you let him get by with it.
You're here to take orders, Grant, not to tell me how to run my ship. Now get down to your cabin.
He's got something on you, hasn't he?
Huh? What do you mean?
Nothing. There just ought to be a reason why you let Ryder get by with murder. Why he has complete command of the ship 3 days running while you sit in your cabin.
Get out of here, Grant.
There's something wrong, isn't there, Captain?
Get out of here before I throw you an iron.
All right, Captain Quiss. I'm just trying to do my duty as an officer. If you want to trust your ship to a rum pot, go ahead.
Yes, Captain Quiss, there is something wrong, isn't there? Ryder has plenty on you, hasn't he? Enough to make you overlook the fact that the first duty of a master is to the safety of his ship. Enough to make you afraid to face Ryder and force the issue. It worries you, doesn't it? Instead of turning in, you sit at your desk in the cabin, thinking, wishing there were a way out. Then at 6 bells, an hour before midnight, you hear a strange and terrifying sound. The roar of the surf to the starboard. It's close, Captain, too close.
Good Lord, Ryder. Do you know what you're doing?
Go away, Quiss. I'm busy.
Give me that wheel.
I'm sure of this
You'll
ship.
pile us up. You'll pile us up on the rocks. Put your helm, man.
Get out of here.
Put your helm.
Well, Quiss, Grant was right, wasn't he? The Carson City did pile on the rocks, a total loss. 2 sailors dead, a valuable cargo gone. But there is an out, isn't there? Ryder's name doesn't appear on the log. Nobody knows he was at the wheel but you. And Charles Grant, second mate. And Ryder must be cleared if you're to continue your career. You don't care what happens, do you, Quiss? Nothing matters now except getting Ryder off. Your life on the sea is at stake. So you play ball because of the strange hold Ryder has on you. You testify that Grant was on the bridge at the critical moment, that in your opinion he's guilty of gross negligence. And the court agrees with you.
Second mate, Grant, will you rise and face the court? It is the finding of this court that on the night of May 11th, you, as the officer in charge, were guilty of criminal negligence, resulting in the wreck of the ship Carson City, with the loss of 2 lives and an entire cargo. You are therefore sentenced to a year and a day in the federal penitentiary, with cancellation of your credentials as an officer in the United States Merchant Marine. Do you have anything to say?
No, Your Honor. Nothing. To the court.
This court is declared adjourned.
Congratulations, Captain.
I'm sorry, Mr. Grant.
I was right, wasn't I? Ryder does have something on you.
I said I'm sorry, Mr. Grant.
Perjury doesn't come easy. There's got to be a reason. I'm sorry, too, Captain Quiss. I'm sorry for you. Because if it takes me a lifetime, I'm going to hang this wrap around your neck and watch you sink.
Signal. New Signal gasoline. With the prologue of tonight's story, The Seeing Eye, the Signal Oil Company brings you another of the strange tales by The Whistler. Have you seen the new 1946 cars now being displayed? They're nice, aren't they? But if you've also inquired about delivery dates, you know you're likely to be driving your present car a good while longer. No need to wait any longer, however, for the fun of improved driving performance. No, sir. For with new Signal gasoline in your tank, you actually feel your present car get young again, right now. And that's because new Signal isn't just pre-war quality gasoline, not just old-style gasoline improved, but an entirely new type, super fuel. There's a long scientific explanation about how chemists actually rearrange the atoms in gasoline molecules to put quicker starting, faster pickup, higher anti-knock, and longer mileage into new Signal gasoline. But for the easy way to prove these advantages, just drive into one of the friendly stations displaying Signal's familiar yellow and black circle sign. Get a tank full of new Signal gasoline. As you step on the accelerator, your own motor will show you why new Signal gasoline actually is the post-war gasoline you can prove is superior. And now, back to the Whistler.
Yes, Captain Quiss, the end of your career on the sea began the night that the Carson City piled up and sank on a reef off the Florida coast and sent Charles Grant, your innocent second mate, to prison for criminal negligence. There was no other way, you told yourself. Ryder must be cleared at all costs. And as he said, you're indispensable to each other. During the years that follow, you make one ironclad request before each sailing. Ryder must go as first mate. Yes, Quiss, the partnership works well during those 4 years. Until one day when your current vessel, the Patricia K, pulls at her moorings in the port of Cape Town, South Africa, anxious to be off on the return trip to New Orleans with her cargo of hemp, leather, and drugs. You're waiting on the bridge for a new officer to arrive.
Second Mate Charles Grant reporting for duty, sir.
Grant?
Surprised, Captain?
What are you doing here?
I'm shipping aboard as second mate. Any objections?
Well, see here, Grant,
What's the matter, Captain? Nervous?
I'm sorry, Grant. You won't do. I'll call the agent.
Good. He'll tell you I'm aboard the Patricia K on orders from the Home Office. You better have a good reason, Captain.
Your record
I'm
shows...
not worried about my record, Captain, and the Home Office isn't either. I'm surprised you're willing to bring up the matter of records, Captain.
See here, Mr. Grant.
Sorry, Captain.
All I have to say, Mr. Grant, is that you'd better be sure you handle your duties well. The past is gone. I'd rather not discuss it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm glad they've given you a new chance. You'll find I haven't changed.
But you have, Captain.
How's that?
I never saw you wearing dark glasses before. Perhaps that's why you didn't recognize me when I walked up just now.
Yes, of course. You'd better go to your cabin, Mr. Grant. Stow your gear.
All right, sir.
Ryder! Ryder, open up!
Yeah, what's the matter?
I don't know.
Wait a minute now. Take it easy. Look out there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're sorry. It was a fifth of my best bourbon, you stupid stumblebum. Why'd you hang out a sign?
I didn't see it.
Of course you didn't see it. One more like that, and I'm going to hand you a white cane. Where's your sense? Told you to stay on the bridge till I came up. What'll the men think when they see you stumbling around on deck?
Listen, Ryder,
I'm through listening. You're falling to pieces, Quiss. I'm tired of playing seeing eye for you every time you have one of these spells. If I had the brains I was born with, I'd make you retire.
I'd kill you first.
You know, I think you would. Come on. We'd better cast off. Got a half hour to clear the port. The new second mate aboard?
Yes.
Who is he?
That's why I came here. He's not a new second mate, Ryder.
Oh, who is he?
Grant.
Grant? What are you talking about?
You heard what I said?
He's been in stir. He hasn't got a license.
He's here on orders from the Home Office. Nothing I can do.
What do you mean there's nothing you can do? That guy can't sail. That's all there is to it.
I called the agent.
Call the agent. Good Lord, why didn't you have him shanghaied? I tell you, that guy's not going to sail. I'm going up there.
Now, wait a minute, Ryder.
Shut up. I'm going up
Ryder! I'm still in command of the ship. And I want you to remember that. If there were anything I could do, I'd do it. But unfortunately, there isn't. Grant's on board for the voyage, and we've got to make the best of it.
All right. I'll make the best of it. And I'll make the best of it when we get to New Orleans, too.
Oh?
Whether you like it or not, Quiz, this is your last voyage. I'm through hanging on to a guy who's fallen to pieces.
What does that mean?
Grant isn't dumb. And he isn't here for the trip. If you had the brains you were born with, you'd have seen it and brushed him off.
It wasn't possible.
I don't care whether it was possible or not. Had to be done. And if we're lucky enough to keep him guessing this trip, you're going to decide to retire when we get to New Orleans.
And if I don't?
The Home Office is going to be surprised to discover that one of their top skippers has a habit of going blind every 6 weeks.
Wait,
and don't try to scare me with that negligence charge. You'd go up just as fast as I would, and for just as long.
Who are you?
And one other thing. You're going to recommend your bright young first mate to succeed you. How does that sound to you, Quiz? Captain Ted Ryder.
It's hard to take, isn't it, Quiz? The idea of giving up your ship, of leaving the sea forever, hardly seems real to you. In your bunk that night, after the Patricia K is put out into the South Atlantic, you try and think back over the past 4 years. You remember the 2 men who died on the Carson City, 2 men whose lives ought to be on your conscience, 2 men who'd be sailing today if you cared about anything but Martin Quist, ship's master. Perjury, bribery, the conviction of an innocent man. Nothing mattered, did it? Finally, you sleep, although the pain in your eyes tells you another attack is coming on in earnest. All you can make out the next morning as you walk down the deck to the bridge is the hazy line of the horizon and the dull blur of the ship plodding forward against a head-on swell. You arrive to find Grant there, alone.
Morning, Grant.
Hello.
What happened? Nothing. I just bumped into the chart table.
Why don't you take those dark glasses off?
Why don't you stop asking me questions, Mr. Grant?
That's one way of finding out things, that's all.
Happens to be the wrong way at the moment. Hand me my log.
What?
Don't what me, Mr. Grant. Hand me my log.
Why, Captain, it's right in front of you on the table.
Huh? Oh. Yes, I didn't notice it.
Don't you feel well?
I feel quite well, thank you.
I'm glad to hear it, sir. What do you suppose that schooner is doing on our starboard bow? Never saw a ship that small in the South Atlantic.
Huh? Where?
Over there. See her?
Huh. Oh, yes.
How do you make her out?
Coastwise African trader, probably. We're only a day out.
Can't be more than 100 feet. Or would you say she was larger?
I'm not interested in whether she's 100 feet or 1,000 feet long, Mr. Grant. Turn to your wheel.
Yeah. Who are you trying to kid, Captain?
What do you mean?
You wear dark glasses day and night. You bump into the table. You can't see the log.
Who said I can't see the log? You might as well know, Mr. Grant, that if I choose to wear pink glasses and a green jacket, I'll do so. It so happens it's none of your business.
On the open sea, the captain's eyes are everybody's business.
It has nothing to do with my eyes.
It was an accident?
Of course.
That ship out there, is that an accident, too?
What are you getting at? I can see that ship perfectly well.
I apologize, Captain. I was wrong about your eyes. You have excellent vision.
Thank you.
It takes a good man to see over the horizon.
What do you mean?
That's where she must be. There isn't any ship out there. Tell me, Captain, what made you think you'd get away with it? A ship's captain without eyes.
But I told
you I felt sorry for you once. I still do. That's where the partnership comes in, isn't it? Your brains and Ryder's eyes.
Now listen, Grant.
You'll do anything to keep that lousy master's license, wouldn't you? You'd stab your best friend in the back, buy and sell witnesses, perjure yourself. Yeah, you'd even kill me if you thought you'd get away with it. Why, Quiz? Why didn't you have sense enough to throw in the towel before it got too big for you?
You wouldn't understand.
You bet I don't understand, and the families of those two men in the Carson City don't understand either. You're a murderer, Quiz. I suppose you know that.
Will you stop it, Grant? Stop
That's
it!
exactly what I'm going to do. When we get to New Orleans, I'm going to stop it. For good this time. You can buy all the witnesses in the world, Quiz, but it won't do you any good. This time it's going to stick.
Yes, Ryder was right, wasn't he, Captain Quiz? You should have done anything to keep Grant off the ship. But it's too late now. He knows your secret. Each day brings the Patricia K closer to New Orleans in the end. You decide to play for time, order the course of the ship change, sending it north to Cape Verde, 4 days out of its way, hoping your eyes will improve. That by the time you arrive in New Orleans, your vision will be sharp and clear and defensible. But it continues to get worse, until finally 10 days out of New Orleans, you can't see at all. And then one night, out of a clear sky, something happens. The opportunity you've been waiting for. As the ship approaches the Florida Keys, not far from where the Carson City foundered, you hear a scuffle outside your cabin.
All right, now get away from there.
What's going on here? Kelly, come here.
Try and pull it again, will you?
Kelly!
Okay, I'll let you go. There. Now. All right, get up, Ryder.
Mr. Grant.
This is none of your business, Quiz. Get up, Ryder, or I'll pull you up. Now, wait a minute, Grant.
Kelly, grab me.
Let go of me, Kelly. I got him,
Get him,
Captain.
man.
Get him. Barnes. Yeah. Take care of Ryder here. Kill him, that's what I'll do. Kill him. Ryder, shut up. Okay, mate. Now take it easy. Don't get you for this, Grant.
That's enough, Ryder.
Shall I put them in irons, Captain?
No, Kelly.
But, Captain.
It won't be necessary, Mr. Kelly. Take them to their cabins.
That gave you an idea, didn't it, Quiz? There's a way out after all. You feel your way back into your cabin and think. Ryder was up to his old tricks again, drunk, trying to take the wheel away from Grant. It was timed perfectly, wasn't it, Captain? 2 competent witnesses present, 2 reliable supporters, both of whom heard Ryder swear he was going to kill Grant. The men are puzzled as to why you didn't throw them in irons. But there's a good reason. They have to be free to come and go as they please during the next night. Free to jump through the hoops you're preparing for them. You go to your cabin after dinner the next night and sit at your table thinking it through. Then at 7 o'clock, you call Grant.
Did you want to see me, Captain?
Oh, it's you.
Yes. I've been standing here for some time.
Grant, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. Perhaps you wondered why I didn't exercise my authority when you and Ryder had that scuffle last night.
I didn't expect Ryder to get it, if that's what you mean.
As a matter of fact, I've come to the conclusion you're right.
What do you want?
When's your trick at the wheel tonight?
I'm on at 8 bells, replacing Ryder.
I see. I've decided to clear you, Mr. Grant. I'm going to put it in writing. It's apparent I'm not much good on the sea anymore, and at least I can try to right the wrong I've done.
What?
I know it's hard to believe, but I'm going to ask you to keep it to yourself until we arrive. Ryder mustn't know about it.
But how can you?
I can manage a typewriter quite nicely, thank you. I'm not asking for any thanks. I don't deserve anything.
I'll go that far with you.
Report here just before you go and watch. 8 Bull sharp. Is that clear?
You're a little unpredictable, Quiz.
I didn't ask for your opinion. I asked whether or not it was clear.
Very well, Captain. I'll be back at 8 bells.
You were afraid of that one, weren't you, Quiz? But he fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. You'll be ready for him at 8 bells with Ryder conveniently alone, unseen on the bridge. You can tell he's alone. Anyone going to the bridge must pass the narrow strip of deck outside your door. Quietly, you feel around in the drawer of your chest. Ryder's Navy revolver, right where you put it this morning. Now the knife and some string. You walk carefully to the door and run your hands over the panel to get just the right spot, breast high, a little to your right, on a line with Grant's heart as he comes in the door. You drive in the point of the knife and tie the string to the knife handle. Then you walk back to the desk, drawing the string with you. At the desk, you sit down. You pick up the gun and prop it up with the barrel running alongside the tight string. When the gun is properly lined up, you pull the string and draw the knife toward you. You put them back in the drawer. Then you release the safety catch on the gun and wait. You're ready for him now, aren't you? With the gun accurately aimed at the spot in the doorway where the bullet will count most when Grant opens that door. It seems like hours. Your hand is cramped around the gun, but you don't relax for a second. There's determination in your mind. You're doing it for the sea, and you won't give it up for anyone. Then...
Whistler will return with the strange ending of tonight's story in just a moment. Meantime, with chill winter weather definitely here, don't forget that you're not the only one who'll be needing winter clothes and a winter diet to keep feeling fit. It's just as important for your car to have Signal's winter diet to keep wear down when the thermometer's down. For the transmission and differential, that means draining, flushing, and refilling with Signal winter gear lubricant. If it's been 5,000 miles since your front wheel bearings were serviced, now's the time to have them removed, thoroughly cleaned, and repacked with Signal long-life wheel bearing grease. And for your motor, it's high time to drain out summer weight oil and refill with real winter protection. Refill with Signal Pen, the pure Pennsylvania oil with the famous fighting film that flows freely even on coldest mornings. With this complete Signal diet, your car has the cold weather lubricants it needs to help keep it purring through another winter. And the place to get it is at that friendly station displaying Signal's familiar yellow and black circle sign, your neighborhood Signal gasoline dealer. And now, back to the Whistler.
Well, it's over now, isn't it, Captain Quiz? Your system worked. The second shot wasn't necessary. You're shaking as you get out of the chair and wipe the fingerprints off the gun, throwing it on the deck beside the body. Then you call the engine room and order Kelly to the cabin. You're ready for him when he arrives.
Good Lord, what's happened?
You were right, Kelly. I should have put them in irons. Seems that Ryder just shot Mr. Grant.
What?
Where is he?
Ryder?
Yes. Yes, throw him in the brig immediately.
But Captain, are you blind?
What do you mean?
Why, this is Ryder here, on the floor.
What? I didn't know it. All I heard was a scuffle and
it, Quiz.
Grant!
I'm in charge now, Kelly. Put Captain Quiz in irons.
Captain!
He's lying. I'm in charge here.
You're even more stupid than I thought, Quiz.
Take him away, Kelly.
Wait a minute. You know why Ryder came here, Quiz? Because I didn't show up for my trick at the wheel. I didn't show up because I've been here, right in this room, from the time you called me in here an hour ago. It was quite a show you put on for me, Quiz. I'll want the knife and string. May need them to illustrate my lecture when we get into New Orleans.
Grant. No. No!
Lock him up, Kelly. I'm sorry for the poor guy.
Next Monday at 9 o'clock, The Whistler will bring you another strange tale. The Whistler is broadcast for your entertainment by the marketers of Signal gasoline and motor oil and fine quality automotive accessories, and by your neighborhood Signal dealer. This program, produced by George W. Allen, with tonight's story by John Michael Hayes and Bud Swanton, music by Wilbur Hatch, is transmitted to our troops overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. That whistle is your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler. This is Marvin Miller speaking, reminding you to look for those familiar yellow and black circle signs that identify those popular Signal Oil stations in 7 western states, from Canada to Mexico. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
"79 years ago, November 12th, 1945, The Whistler here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. On our Wednesday show, we'll look at Sunday, November 13th, 1960, 64 years ago, with news from that date, an episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, suspense, Vivian Smolin and George Petrie in The Man Who Murders People. We'll have an episode of Jeff Regan Investigator, starring Jack Webb and the guy from Gower Gulch. And we'll have an episode of the program Macabre, which was a Armed Forces radio program, and I think you'll find it very interesting. It's entitled Final Resting Place. We'll top it all off with Lum and Abner. That's coming up on our Wednesday program. Then on Thursday, we'll have Dr. Christian, Gunsmoke, Dark Fantasy, The Green Hornet, and then on Friday, a pair of Jack Benny programs, one from 1936 and the other from 1953. Marie Wilson is My Friend Irma, and Fibber McGee and Molly. And then Saturday, more comedy with Amos and Andy, The Aldrich Family, The Great Gildersleeve, and another half hour with Lum and Abner. That's all coming up this week. All right, coming up next, an episode of The Lineup starring William Johnstone.
You can protect yourself from radioactive fallout after an enemy attack. Our tests have shown that an underground shelter covered by 3 feet of earth offers the best protection. A basement shelter could be made safe by closing off windows, exterior entrances, and banking exposed walls. In homes without basements, first-floor areas with the least exposure, such as bathroom, utility room, or hallway, should be selected. Be prepared. Start building your home shelter today.
And we have a link in the show notes here for a family fallout shelter book. I hope you'll check it out and get it. It is good information to have even today. Now we go to CBS, an episode of the program called The Lineup, starring William Johnstone. Remember him as the Shadow. This goes back 72 years ago, November 12th, 1952, and the Buggered Bunco Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take you now behind the scenes of a police headquarters in a great American city, where under the cold, glaring lights will pass before us the innocent, the vagrant, the thief, the murderer. This is The Lineup.
watching the show?
Yeah, over there. Second row came in about 15 minutes ago. Anything happen?
Well, they made Francisco's prints on the showcase and safe. If she identifies him, he can be arraigned in the morning without any trouble. How many tonight?
42.
Huh?
Yeah, and Masterson's been picking up narcotic suspects all day. You know that thing on Temple Hill?
Oh, yeah. You getting anywhere?
Broke it this afternoon, I guess. A couple of his men found an acre of marijuana growing next to a celery patch south of town. Hey, how about those Dodgers today?
Yeah, those homers really paid off. I'll see you later.
Right.
Pardon me. Pardon me, please. Thank you. Ah, hello, Shirley.
Oh, hi. Sit down, sit down.
Well, thanks.
Tom told me to sit here. Said you'd be along pretty soon to take care of me.
Tom?
Sergeant Quine, you know.
Oh, Sergeant Quine.
Yeah. And here you are, huh?
Uh-huh. Now, Shirley, if you see anybody in the line you recognize
Oh, didn't
tonight,
you get it? Didn't you arrest the one I saw in the picture?
Well, we want you to identify the man you saw breaking into the store, if you can.
I picked out his picture, didn't I?
That's right. Now we want you to identify him in person. It's the way we make sure on these things.
Oh. Hey.
Hmm?
I know him, don't I?
Who's Sergeant Carter?
Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
May I have your attention, please?
Oh, he's so businesslike.
You people out there on the other side of the wire in the audience room, may I have your attention, please? Thank you. My name is Carter, Sergeant Pete Carter. I'll explain the lineup to you. Each of the suspects you will see will be numbered. I'll call off a number, their name and charge. If you have any questions or identifications, please remember the number assigned to the prisoner as I call his name. At the end of each line, when I ask for questions or identifications, call out the number. If you're sure or not too sure of the suspect, have him held. The officers who took your name will assist you. They're seated among you. Please be prompt with your questions or identifications. When the prisoners
I've
leave
never
here,
seen
they're
anything
sent to the
like this
washroom
before.
and dressed back into the jail clothes.
Exciting, you know, for a girl
Makes
like
it
me.
quite difficult to bring them
You know?
back after they leave
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Now, the questions I ask
How long have you been a
suspects are merely
policeman?
to get a natural tone of voice.
13
Not
years.
too much attention to
That's
their
a long
answers
time,
as
isn't
they
it?
often will.
Yeah.
All right, bring on the line. All the way to the end of the stage, boys. Over here, all the way to the end. That's right. Now turn and face the screen.
There he is.
Take your hands out
The
of your
tall
pockets,
one.
look straight
That's the man I
ahead.
saw in the picture.
That's
Same one who
the
broke
ticket.
into the store.
You're certain?
All right, number one.
Okay,
Clarence Daly,
let's wait until he's
Grand Theft
questioned.
Merchandise. Up to the white line, Clarence. Where do you live?
727 Patriarch.
Speak right up, Clarence. It's a long way to the back of the room. Once more.
727 Patriarch Street.
What's your occupation, Clarence?
I work in a liquor store. Sell liquor. Hapman's.
Hapman's?
Hapman's Liquor. It's over on 43rd.
That where you were arrested, Clarence?
Yes.
Anyone arrested with you?
No. Oh, I was all alone.
Look straight ahead of you, Clarence. Don't look at me. You own a gun?
No.
Automobile?
No, not anymore. I had a Ford until last month.
Okay, Clarence, step back.
I didn't get that, Sergeant.
Step back against the wall, Clarence.
Oh, I didn't understand you there.
Number 2, Joseph Francisco, burglary. Okay, Joe.
Okay, what?
On the line, Joe. What's your address? You hear me?
I'm trying to think. Call the Ravensport Hotel, someplace on Marshall Street.
You new in town?
That's right.
Where you from?
Bonneville, Missouri.
When'd you get here?
Last week. Thursday, I guess. No, it's Friday.
Are you sure about that?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
keep
I'm sure.
lying.
About what?
But the store was
Stand
right.
up straight,
straighten
Joe.
it out.
That's more like it. Just let your hands hang at your sides. You own a car?
That's him.
Yeah.
What kind? What color?
40.
What happens now?
Well, at the end of the line, we'll hold him out for interrogation.
Oh.
Anyone with you when you were arrested, Joe?
I was with a girl.
And what's her name?
I don't know. It's just some girl I met. Having a beer when Big John Bull walked in. Sure could use that beer now.
Yeah. Well, step back.
Lieutenant.
Number
You
3,
married?
Robert Ainsworth.
No, I'm not.
Vagrancy.
Oh,
Step up to the circle, Robert.
I
Yeah?
Where
I
do
just
you
wondered.
live, Robert?
Only take a minute.
It's all right. I got plenty of time.
I'd like to have you sign this verification card.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks. What'll happen now?
I'll ask Francisco for a statement.
You mean you'll ask him to confess?
Well, amounts to that.
What's in that for him? Suppose you don't want to confess.
I think he understands. We have him pretty cold on these burglaries he's been pulling. If he makes a statement, he'll get a quicker hearing. I might be calling you back in a few days to appear.
In court?
Well, sort of. Magistrate's court. That's when the complaint will be presented.
Oh,
Well, thanks for coming down. Really appreciate it.
I'm glad to do it. Hello, Pete.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm fine.
A hotshot called, Ben.
And what's up?
Double murder.
When?
10 minutes ago. Quine's out there now.
I see you in the garage.
Right.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, so long.
Well, goodbye.
Goodbye, Shirley.
This way, Ben. Happened in here.
Some party.
Yeah.
Well, who are they?
Well, that one's Anthony Avrilla. This one's Vincent Diacino.
You find the knife?
No, I had some men looking around outside. Thought I'd wait in here till the coroner's finished.
Yeah. Any witnesses?
Lots of them. Man who lives next door, Edward Papelli, says there was a poker game here tonight.
Now, who identified him?
Papelli. He's known Avrilla for years. Diacino about 2 months. This is Avrilla's room. Landlady says he rented it about a year ago.
Okay. Where's she?
Downstairs.
Take it here, Pete.
Yeah.
Come on.
To your right, Ben.
All right.
Oh, terrible thing.
Is that her?
Yeah, that's her.
Terrible.
Mrs. Konopka, this is Lieutenant Guthrie.
Oh, the terrible thing. Such nice boys, all of them. Such nice boys. Playing cards and living and talking.
I understand Anthony Havrilla's lived here for a year. Is that right, Mrs. Konopka?
Yes. Yes, that is.
You've known him all that time?
Oh, yes. Poor Anthony.
The other victim, Vincent Diacino. You know him, too?
Friend of Anthony's, I know this. Anthony's little friend. They work together.
Where?
I do not know.
Do you know where Diacino lives?
Yes. Yes, he lives in Gorman.
Well, 10 minutes ago, you didn't remember that, Mrs. Konopka.
Now I do.
How about the others who were here? Did you see them?
Yes. I see.
Or did you know them?
No.
Any of them at all?
I have seen them here before, but I do not know them.
How many were there?
No, I do not know.
Well, did you hear anything unusual tonight?
Nothing. Not a word. Peaceful. I was sitting reading my paper.
No loud voices from up there?
Oh, no.
Any sounds of a struggle?
Struggle? Oh, no. Only laughing and talking. I saw them come here to poor Anthony's room. They passed by right there in the hall, you see.
Well, what, to go up the stairs?
Yes, to go up the stairs. I said to them, be gentlemen, be quietly. There are others. Mr. Laxman across the hall sick.
Mm-hmm. Well, go on, Mrs. Konopka.
They were quiet. For boys, they were quiet. I mean, loud laugh, maybe. Maybe a word not too nice, but gentlemen.
Uh-huh. Mrs. Konopka, you've seen that room up there?
Oh, sure.
Well, some furniture broken. One of the windows smashed. Bottle broken.
What?
Broken furniture and glass. Looks like there might have been quite a fight up there, Mrs. Konopka.
Oh, yes.
Well?
Yes.
Well, did you know about the fight?
Oh, there was fighting. I heard that.
Oh.
About an hour ago. I heard them rush downstairs fast. Then all is quiet. I wait a moment, then I go up to Anthony's room to see what terrible. Oh, terrible. Oh,
I know this has been a lot for you, Mrs. Konopka, but I wish you'd do your best to cooperate with us.
I tell everything. Nothing to hide.
Well, did you say anything to them when they came down the stairs?
Oh, no.
Ben.
Who is this?
A police officer, Mrs. Konopka.
Oh,
Coroner's waiting for you.
Okay. Keep on here, quiet.
Yeah, Ben.
you come back.
Yeah.
Thinks it might have been a screwdriver instead of a knife.
Oh?
Gonna post them tomorrow.
You talked to Laxman, man who lives in that one?
Yeah. He says he knew Havrilla and Diacino. Told me a man named Charles Bender, another one named Bob Fisher were in the card game tonight. Might be a break.
Huh?
Yeah, I phoned in. R&I got a make for me. Fisher did 2 years for car theft, out last November. 5 arrests previous to that. Burglary, theft, nothing big. Bender's had 13 arrests, 2 convictions, both narcotics. 6 months county jail, 1939. 6 months county jail, 1946.
Okay, check them out. Now we need at least one more. Huh? Takes 5 men for a poker game.
Morning, Ben.
Morning. Anything new?
Francisco made a statement.
Clears up about 27 burglary jobs.
And your friend Shirley Madden called twice.
What'd she want?
You.
You can get the package together on Francisco. Send over to the district attorney's office.
Right.
Pete in yet?
Hey, he's in your office. Bender turned himself in this morning.
Yeah?
Walked in the 5th precinct, told the desk sergeant he thought he was wanted. They just brought him down.
Okay. Anything on the others?
Watching their houses, checking their mama sheets.
Okay.
What do I tell Shirley if she calls again?
Oh, say I'll see her at the trial.
Want to smoke, Ben?
Yeah, thanks. Oh, hi, Ben. This is Charlie Bender.
Oh, hello, son.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Understand you turned yourself in.
Yes, sir. I didn't want any part of this. No part of it at all.
He was just about to tell us what happened last night.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I don't know how it started. I really don't. They've been drinking some, but nobody was drunk.
Who was there?
Well, Vrilla, Iachino, then a kid named Fisher, and this new kid that Tony invited.
Now, what was his name?
Tony just called him Pinky. He was already there when Fisher and me come in. Sitting there with Tony and Vince.
Mm-hmm.
They just called him Pinky, and we sat down to play.
You don't know his full name?
No. And I had nothing to do with it. It was Pinky. He was the one.
You mean he did the killing?
Yeah.
You don't know any more about him other than that they called him Pinky?
No.
Go on.
Well, we were playing 5-card. Me and Fisher dropped out after the openers. Pinky and Vince and Tony played it out. Tony won the hand. And Pinky got mad about it, said he'd been sandbagging. Began calling Tony names, kept needling him. Pinky dealt the next hand, lost that too. He blamed Vince for it. Then he started swinging him. Vince went after him. Pinky picked up a screwdriver sitting on a windowsill and went right in his chest. We all got scared. Tony tried to get his arms around Pinky, and Pinky let him have it, too. I guess you saw where. That's about the way it happened.
Why'd you run, Charlie?
Pinky looked at me and Fisher and said we better get out of there before somebody called the cops. He said we were all in it together.
Did he threaten you?
He still had the screwdriver in his hand.
Did he threaten you? Did he say he'd kill you if you didn't go with him?
He just killed 2 guys. He had the screwdriver in his hand.
Did he threaten Fisher?
No. Oh, he just said we'd all be hauled in if we didn't get out of there. Can I have a light? This thing went out.
Oh. Yeah.
Thanks. Look, don't you guys believe me?
Just trying to get all the facts.
Well, I'm telling them to you.
What happened after you left the house?
Well, Pyle and Fisher's car started driving. Pinky said we headed for Chicago. Fisher didn't want to, but Pinky kept talking crazy kind of. Fisher said, okay, we do that. Pinky said he had a gun at his place. He wanted to stop, pick it up, so Fisher drove him over there.
And where was that?
Clover Street, I think. He went in, come right out. He had a gun with him.
What kind?
I don't know, just a gun.
All right, then what happened?
Fisher said he wanted to get some things at his place, so he drove over there. But there was a prowl car out in front when we went by, so he just kept on going. That's really what started me thinking. I knew we were in for it real good. Fisher and me didn't have anything to do with it, but they already wanted us. They knew who we were. I just took a chance when we stopped for a light on Federal. I piled out a car, began running. Pinky yelled at me, but I just kept on going. I ran an alley, climbed a fence, then I hid in a filling station. It was closed for the night. I just stayed there till I thought it was safe, and then I found the nearest police station.
The whole thing started when Vincent Iachino won a hand from Pinky.
Yeah, that's right.
Pinky went after Vincent with a screwdriver, then he got Tony.
Uh-huh.
All over that one hand?
Yeah.
How much money did Pinky lose on that hand, Charlie?
19 cents.
Both back this Sunday night. Edgar Bergen and Company and Eve Arden as our Miss Brooks. Yes, it's the Bergen and McCarthy Show with Mortimer Snerd, Ray Noble's orchestra, and guest stars. Back Sunday nights at the Stars address, starting this weekend. Returning the same night is Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden as an English teacher ever seeking her special degree in romance. For comedy galore, enjoy Bergen and McCarthy and Our Miss Brooks on most of these same stations back this Sunday night, presented by CBS Radio.
You said it was a white house.
Yeah, it was a white house. I'm pretty sure it was a white house.
On Clover Street.
Yeah, look, I'm doing my best.
We've gone up and down 3 times now, Bender. From 32nd to 25th. You said it was here, someplace?
It is. Can we try the alley here? He took us in through the alley.
Okay, Pete. Back it up.
I sure want you to get a line on him. You know that, don't you? You know I want you to get him.
Yeah, sure, Ben.
It's almost 6.
Is it? I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Hey.
You spotted?
Oh, we turned left in the alley just like we did in this one. He made Fisher stop the car right by a big garage. Then he went into the house while we waited. Hey, look, this could be it.
All right, take a good look, Bender.
I think this is the place. It was dark, but I remember there was a high fence, and he went through a gate like that one.
Okay, Pete. Give it a try.
Yep. Be right back.
All right. You said you didn't have a chance to talk to Fisher?
I didn't, no.
What about when you were waiting in the car for Pinky? What did you talk about then?
Well,
you were all alone? Pinky wasn't around?
We were scared more than anything else. A crazy guy just killed 2 people. We were scared, that's all. We were just going to play a little penny ante last night, that's all.
But you could have gotten away from him then.
Yeah, we could have, but we were scared.
Uh-huh.
Look, that's the truth. Me and Fisher didn't have anything to do with the killing. It was all Pinky. That's true, honest, it's true.
Yeah?
A man named Harrison owns the house. He's putting on some clothes right now. 3 days ago, he rented the back room to a guy who gave his name as Lloyd Talbot. Tall, red-headed, medium build, about 27.
Well, Bender?
I never heard that name, but it sure sounds like him.
Harrison got a phone in there?
Yeah.
Take it here, Pete. I'll send somebody out from the crime lab.
All right, Ben.
Call in that name. We might have something.
Yeah. Sure a pretty morning, huh?
Yeah.
Sergeant Fine.
You're right, Charlie.
Yeah.
No, lady, you want the juvenile division.
Just sit down on the bench there.
Hold on.
Okay.
This goes 305.
Hi.
Oh, hi. I haven't got a thing on a Lloyd Talbot thing.
Well, Monica Fowle's still our best bet, then.
Asher brought up this batch a couple of minutes ago. Got some mugs for him to look at.
How many are there?
325.
Hey, look, don't I get any sleep?
After you look at these. Come on.
Murph and Crockett found the screwdriver. It was in some bushes in front of the house. Lab said the blood sample's the same type as those of the Achino and Avrilla.
Any prints?
One good thumbprint being checked now.
Now, let me know.
Okay.
Okay, Charlie, make yourself comfortable.
Yeah. Hey, do I have to look at all these?
I don't know.
What?
He might be this first boy.
No.
No? How about this one?
No.
Hmm?
No.
Hmm?
No. Look, I'm hungry. I'm tired.
You want to smoke?
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, how about this one?
No.
Here.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's...
They found a car, Ben.
Huh?
Motorcycle officer on Federal Highway spotted it. Fisher's in it, shot to death.
Let's go.
My bike started to go haywire about there. I pulled over to the side of the road to have a look. I saw it sticking out in those trees.
Yeah.
Must have rolled it down from up there. Tracks across the shoulder of the road. All this brush broken around here.
Yeah. What time did you come on, Nevers?
6 o'clock this morning, sir. Figure it must have happened before sunrise, because there are a lot of trucks on the highway early in the morning. Pretty busy. And he needed a minute or two to get out of the car and push it over.
Yeah.
Dead about 4 hours, Ben.
Oh, that'd make it around 2 or 3 this morning, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Burrs all over the place.
Yeah. This patrolman Nevers, he spotted the car, Sergeant Klein.
Oh, Nevers. Oh, Sergeant.
We want it roped off from about there to there, and over to there.
Yeah.
Soft ground around here. Might be a footprint somewhere that'll help. Cover the shoulder of this road on both sides. He might still be around.
Lots of cafes and roadhouses up the road, sir. Motels and places he could stay.
A walking distance?
5, 6 miles, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we better cover all those, Glenn.
Right.
Where'd you call from, Nevers?
Filling station, half a mile down.
How much longer the coroner going to be?
Another hour or so. Oh, here's Pete.
Yeah.
This came from the office, Ben. Gotta make on Pinky.
Oh, Ben to find him?
On that thumbprint, name is Lester Richard Thompson.
What was he up for?
Auto theft in 1943, burglary conviction 1951, small-time stuff, cheap crook. Oh, what about this here?
Looks like he killed Fisher in the car, then pushed it over the side and took off. Lester Richard Thompson, eh?
Yeah. He's growing up.
Still cheap.
Huh?
He's killed 3 men for nothing. Anything new?
Yeah, a couple of things. Place out on Federal Highway, about 18 miles from where the car was found, called the Hi-Hat. Asher covered the place with Murph and Ollinger. The waitress there, name was Vicky Walters. Remember the man who came in the restaurant about 10 or 11 this morning? She said he had mud all over his shoes, looked tired, a little scared. He had some coffee, made a phone call. Taxi came out and picked him up.
Did she see the mug on Thompson?
Yeah, she wasn't too sure it was the same man, but Asher's checking it out now. Black and tan cab company. Take a while to go through those waybills.
Yeah.
You get any sleep at all?
No, not much. Too hot.
Yeah.
Pete go home?
No, he went over with Asher. These came in from the lab. Fisher got it with a 38.
No.
Ballistics working on the slugs now.
You post over?
Yeah. Report ought to be here pretty soon. Found 4 good prints of Thompson's in the car.
Well, he's our boy.
Yeah. I wonder what made him do it all of a sudden like that. You suppose it's a heat, Ben?
When we get him, I'll ask him.
Investigation, Sergeant Klein. Yeah. Oh, what's the number? 315, right. That's Asher. Cab driver identified Thompson's mug.
Where'd you take him?
Newport Hotel, 315 Bailey. Checked in under the name of Lawrence Tyler.
Hi. He's on the second floor, room 215. Asher's covering the stairs in the back.
Okay. You want to take it here, Klein?
Right.
You alone?
Yeah. This is Mr. Compton. He's the clerk here. Lieutenant Guthrie.
Hello, Mr. Compton.
Oh, how are you? Well, I was just telling this officer here. I checked him in about, it was about 11 o'clock. He didn't have any luggage, but he did pay in advance, and so I thought...
Tell me, did you get any phone calls, or has he made any since he's been here?
Oh, no. He just went up to his room, and he's been there ever since.
You sure, Mr. Compton?
Well, he'd have to pass this desk to get out, unless he went out the fire escape.
I see. You got a key, Pete?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you won't, there won't be any ruckus.
I hope not, Mr. Compton.
Well, anything I can do to help.
Well,
I need...
just stay here. Thanks.
That's to the right, Ben.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah. Let's not give him any chances. Open it.
Yeah.
All right, Thompson, you're covered.
Hey, what is this? What's the idea of busting a guy's room when he's sleeping?
Police officers. Get on your feet and get some clothes on. We want you downtown.
Hey,
Wait, Ben, watch him.
All right, boy. Come on now. Be sensible. Get him. Kill all of you. Okay, big man. You hear me out?
Tough guy.
Yeah. Cheap tough guy.
The lineup, where before you pass the innocent, the vagrant, the thief, the murderer. Listen again next week when we again bring you the lineup.
May I have your attention, please? You people out there on the other side of the wire in the audience room, may I have your attention, please? Thank you. My name is Cogger, Sergeant Pete Cogger. I'll explain the lineup to you. Each of the suspects you will see will be numbered. I'll call off the number their name is Cogger.
The lineup, starring Bill Johnstone as Lieutenant Ben Guthrie with Jack Moyles as Sergeant Pete Cogger, was written by E. Jack Newman with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Featured in tonight's cast were Hy Everback, Virginia Gregg, Howard McNear, Lou Krugman, Anthony Barrett, and Larry Thor. The lineup is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle.
CBS Radio brings you every kind of show. Pleasure for everyone. Wonderful hours of fun. Turn your dial for a smile. Entertainment all the while. You'll hear the best wherever you go. Just tune to CBS Radio. Tune in to CBS Radio.
And remember, for music and songs of Tin Pan Alley, join Von Monroe on Saturday night. Radio Network.
"72 years ago, November 12th, 1952, the lineup here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Mandel Kramer next as yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Home shelters are your best protection from radioactive fallout. A basement shelter will offer good protection, but an underground shelter 3 feet below ground will give almost complete protection. It's your responsibility to decide which is the safest area in your home. Then determine what needs to be done to give it the best possible protection. If you want to build a basement shelter with concrete or sandbagged walls and ceiling, plans are available. Remember, the moderate cost of constructing a shelter is low-cost insurance for you.
And now an episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, the man who last played the man with the action-packed expense account, Mandel Kramer from the New York City CBS studios. Going back 63 years, November 12th, 1961, The Wrong One Matter.
Johnny Dollar.
Earl Foreman.
There's the welcome voice. Hi, Earl. How are things down there in nice, warm, sunny Florida?
Nice and warm and sunny.
Oh, it's a lot more than you can say for up here in New England. We've just been hit over the head with a cold, wet spell, and anybody as wants it can have it.
Well, what's even more important, Johnny, the fishing is red hot.
Okay, all you have to do is cook up some excuse for me to hire myself down there on expense account. How about it?
Well, I can try. Let's see now.
Well?
One broken ankle.
What?
I said one badly busted ankle. You think that'll do for it?
For what?
The excuse you want to come down here and take over a little chore I'd handle myself except for this bum ankle of mine.
Earl, if you really have a broken ankle, I'm sorry to hear it.
I really have.
What is this little chore that you're talking about?
A visit to one of our clients. Lives down the road a piece.
You want me all the way down there just to call on a client?
Why not?
You think the Home Office would okay all my expenses just for that?
When I remind them of all the thousands, maybe millions you've saved them over the years,
Here. Just to call on a client, huh?
Honor bright.
Well, I don't believe it, Earl. There's something fishy about this.
Nah, you know me better than to say a thing like that, Johnny.
You mean I know you just well enough? Not once have I gone down there supposedly to fish without running into a burglary or embezzlement, arson, murder, mayhem, or what have you, and been lucky to get back here in one piece. So come on, Earl, come clean. What is it this time?
I told you, Johnny.
Okay. I guess there's only one way for me to find out.
Good. I'll be waiting for you.
The CBS Radio Network brings you Mandel Kramer and the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator,
yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Tri-State Life and Casualty Insurance Company branch office in Sarasota, Florida. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Wrong One Matter. Expense account item 1, $87.70 for a cab to Bradley Field, then plane fare to New York to Tampa to Sarasota. Item 2, $3 for a taxi to the office on Main Street that Earl Pullman shares with Don Boomhauer, a prominent realtor in those parts. Earl, the lower part of his right leg in a plaster cast and a crutch under his arm, hobbled around pretty uncomfortably.
Sit down, huh? Are you kidding? That's all I've been doing now for nearly 2 weeks, ever since the doc put this blasted cast on my ankle.
Earl, would you like me to autograph it like the kids do?
No, thanks. Seriously, Johnny, this darn thing's been driving me nearly crazy.
I don't doubt it, Earl. I'm awfully sorry.
Sitting around the house doing nothing day after day, and Mike having to play nursemaid to me all the time. Why, do you know this is the first day I've even been down here at the office?
How is Mike? Be sure to give her my love, huh?
Well, give it to her yourself. You'll be staying with us, you know.
Fine.
Anyhow, I suddenly got the idea that if you'd come down here and run the boat, well, we could go out in the Gulf, tie into some whoppers, and maybe it'd take my mind off this thing for a change.
You know something, Earl? That is the best idea you have had in years.
Yeah, well, I didn't think you'd object too strenuously.
That talk about a job for me to do while I'm here was just a bluff.
Not a bit of it. Here, help me to sit down, will you?
Sure. Just take it easy now, old man.
Now, don't give me that, you...
All right. I got it. I got the crutch here. I'll set it right here. There we are.
Now, in the corner of the desk, that letter, you see it?
This one?
Yeah. Mailed only yesterday.
You call this a letter? On a piece of wrapping paper.
Read it, Johnny, if you can.
Well, I can try. Dear, double-E-R. Dear Mr. P-U-R-E. Pure man?
Never mind the spelling. It means poor man.
I hope so. You know, anybody who thought of you as being pure would be out of his mind, Earl.
Okay. So you made a funny.
No, I was absolutely serious.
Okay, just forget the bad spelling and translate the best you can.
All right. Dear Mr. Poorman, if your company don't want to pay off my insurance real quick, come see me real quick. Account of my My pal, B-L-E-A-K, Bleak.
Blake. Johnny Waldo Blake, his beneficiary.
Oh. On account of my pal Blake is away... What?
Gatorin.
Gatorin. And can't help me, so you better hurry. S-I-N, signed, Mr. Emmett?
Emmett Dennery, the client I mentioned over the phone.
Ooh, I'll say this for your Mr. Emmett Dennery. He is no mental giant.
Well, he is still a client.
How much of a policy, Earl?
2,000 straight life.
2,000?
That's a lot of money to some people.
Well, I know it is, but is it enough to justify my expenses all the way from Hartford?
Well, now you know the real reason why you're here.
Ah, you are a good man. Who is he, Earl? What's this letter mean?
Johnny, Mr. Emmett Dennery is a client I've never even seen. All I know about him is what Pete Fisher told me.
Fisher?
Yeah, he held down this office before I took over. He died 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh?
Well, anyway, Emmett Dennery and his pal, Waldo Blake, are a couple of old crackers, live down in the swamps, down the Everglades.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they scrape out a living, trapping and killing animals, and then selling the hides. Anyway, it looks like Emmett's pal is away somewhere, gatoring. That means after alligators.
I thought it was illegal to kill alligators in this state.
Well, sure it is. Anyhow, Emmett wants somebody to go to see him. Well, here you are, and we can justify your expense account to the company. And after you've paid your little visit to him, you and I can do some serious fishing. Okay?
Earl, it sounds to me as though he's pretty scared of something. This part here. If your company don't want to pay off my insurance real quick...
Only thing he needs to be scared of, Johnny, is a game warden. I'd bet on it.
I wonder. Do you know where he lives?
Well, here, I can show you on this map that Fisher had the foresight to pin on the policy. Here you are.
You call this a map?
Here. Sarasota.
I'd never know it.
And here's Fort Myers, so this has to be the main highway, the Tamiami Trail.
Mm-hmm.
And this, well, maybe it's only a wagon track right into the Everglades. And right here is where Emmett's supposed to live. Think you can find it?
Well, I can try.
Okay. Now, you take my car, drive me home, and then get on your way. And as soon as you get back here, if it's still daylight...
Earl.
Yeah?
If I remember right, this Everglades country can be pretty dangerous in spots for somebody who doesn't know his way around.
Oh, you make out all right. You did the time before, didn't you?
Oh, sure.
So, what do you got to worry about?
You tell me. Yes, on my previous expedition into the Everglades, I had made out all right. But that time, I'd had a guide, a young Indian boy by the name of Ben Osceola. Which, by the way, brings up an interesting point. Nearly all the Indians who inhabit that section of swamp call themselves Osceola. It's a long, famous name among the members of the Seminole tribe. At any rate, if I could find him again... And according to the map Earl had given me, the chances were pretty good. So, after dropping Earl off at his home on Oyster Bay and staging an impromptu, passionate love scene with his wife, Mike, who is a living doll, and Earl on his crutch couldn't do a thing about it anyway except howl with pretended rage, I got behind the wheel and headed south on 41, the Tamiami Trail. At Fort Myers, I turned left on 82 into the Everglades and headed right into the middle of the big cypress swamp country. A few miles below Sunnyland, I found a pair of wagon tracks that the map had shown barely passable in the car I was driving. But this was all to my liking because I was in the same part of the swamp that I'd been in once before during the previous assignment. There in a clearing on the edge of a sort of a bayou was a little unpainted house. And from it a tall, husky young Indian emerged. In his hands, aimed straight at the car and at me, was a .30-30 rifle.
Wait a minute. Aren't you Ben? Ben Osceola? You call me Ben?
Sure. Don't you remember me?
Mr. Johnny.
That's right. Johnny Dollar. Remember?
Yes. Our old friend. I welcome you, Mr. Johnny.
Well, thank you. It's nice to see you again, Ben. And I wonder if you can help me again.
If I can, Mr. Johnny, I will be glad to.
Ben, I'm looking for a man by the name of Emmett Dennery.
You, want to see that old man?
Yes. Does he still live around here somewhere?
So far as I know.
Well, good.
But he is not our friend.
Oh? You Indian people been having some trouble with him?
No, but we have nothing to do with him.
Why is that, then?
Because he and the other, the one they call Lefty.
Will that be Waldo Blake?
Yes, Lefty Blake.
What about him?
They do not obey the law. They take much game they should not take. They live and hunt on our land, our Seminole land.
I see. Ben, have your people been getting rough with them?
No, Mr. Johnny. But we stay far away from them. We do not wish to soil our hands or minds by any contact with them. They are taboo.
What you're saying, then, is that if somebody is bothering Dennery, it is not your people.
That is right.
And you say that in spite of the way you seem to feel about him?
Yes, Mr. Johnny.
When did you last see him, Ben?
Many years ago, as a child. At least I think it was.
How do you mean?
They looked so much alike that few could tell them apart.
Oh? I see. Ben, if you still have an airboat that can ride out over this swamp, have you?
Back in my house.
Well, can I hire you to take me to where Emmett Dennery lives?
No, Mr. Johnny.
No?
I must not go there. It's taboo among my people.
I see. Well, look, just look here now, Ben. If this map means anything, it can't be too far from here.
And you can take my airboat yourself.
All right. And I'll pay you for it.
Well, that is not necessary.
Oh, it is as far as I'm concerned. Here you are. Would 20 be enough?
Thank you. You will buy many shoes for my children.
Well, I'm glad, Ben. You can give me some directions. This map, I'm afraid, isn't too good.
Oh, yes. I am sorry I cannot go with you, Mr. Johnny.
Well,
it might be better if I could.
What do you mean by that, Ben?
From what I have heard about these men, you must be very careful.
Ever ride one of those airboats? It's a flat-bottomed aluminum hull about 12 feet long, and the bow is squared off instead of coming to a point. Two precarious little seats are propped up high in the middle of it. And at the back is a motor with an airplane propeller. They're safe, all right, but tricky, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, I climbed aboard and took off. And, brother, I mean took off. It's quite a ride, believe me. That half-planing, half-skipping over the shallow water. Perched up there on the spindly seat, I kept waiting for it to flip as I tore on out across the bayou, then wove my way through a network of narrow little rivers, over spots that in some places were nothing more than wet swamp grass. No wonder an ordinary underwater propeller couldn't be used. The darn thing would be hung up in the weeds and grass in no time. Every now and then I had to swerve quickly to avoid a half-submerged log. Or was it a huge alligator? There were more rattlesnakes and cottonmouth moccasins out there than I'd ever seen before. All sorts of animal life, and thousands of birds that rose in alarm as I fairly plowed through them. Finally, I came to a couple of acres of high ground, of brush and trees that stuck out like an island there in the middle of the swamp. At one end of it was a decrepit old clapboard shack, surrounded by row after row of drying frames with skins on them, mostly the hides of raccoons and alligators, curing in the sun. There was no one around. At least there was no one inside. As I beached the airboat as close to it as possible, jumped off, and headed for the old cabin, I wondered if Emmett Dennery, like his pal Lefty Blake, was somewhere out in that swamp, gatoring, collecting game. The reason Dennery had given in his letter for being alone, for needing help. I didn't have to wonder for long. Mr. Dennery? Mr. Dennery? Anybody here? Hello? Well, let's see now. Oh, good. Seems to be open. A dank, fetid odor met me as I pushed open the rickety door into the dark, windowless, one-room shack. It was almost nauseating. And after the bright sunshine outdoors, it took my eyes nearly a minute to see anything in that dark, gloomy interior. There was no covering on the floor except the dirt, of which there was plenty. For a table and chairs, there was nothing but old crates and boxes clumsily nailed together. On one side, near the door, was a beat-up old wood stove with half a dozen filthy pots and pans at one end of it and a stack of dishes, long unwashed. As I half stumbled over an old rusty bread box lying on the floor, a huge rat scurried out of it and ran out the door. I wondered what sort of slovenly so-called humans could possibly live in such miserable, reeking squalor. Then I noticed the ragged draperies hanging across the far end as a sort of divider for the room. I felt that even to touch them would be to contaminate myself, but nonetheless I pulled them aside. There, on a rude cot, dressed in tattered jeans, a dirty shirt, and a pair of high-top lace boots, lay the body of a man. I'm no expert at such things, but even a cursory examination told me that he'd been dead for several days. There was a torn, grimy coverlet on the floor, and I started to pick it up to lay it gently over him.
Don't you move now, mister.
What?
Unless you want me to blow your head off. Whether you move or not, I think I'm doing it anyhow.
Hi, sports fans. This is Pat Summerall, glad to be back with the Frost on the Pumpkin and other signs of the football season. Monday through Saturday nights on this CBS radio network station. Let's join forces for a sports time rundown on the grid scene and the other major sports. Don't forget now, every night but Sunday, this is your address for sports time, presenting all the latest in the world of sports. The name of the game, again, Sports Time, right here.
When I heard the voice in back of me coming from the doorway of the old cabin, I half-turned, reaching for my gun, but I found myself staring into the barrel of an ancient high-powered rifle with the hammer of it pulled into firing position. And in back of that gun, one of the most disreputable-looking characters I've ever seen. He was about 60, I'd say, maybe 5 feet 3 or 4, a wrinkled, weather-beaten face, scraggly, dirty gray beard. He was dressed in khaki pants and shirt so badly worn it was a wonder they held together on his wiry little frame, and in his eyes, peering out from under the remains of an old army hat, under long, bushy eyebrows, reminded me of the eyes of a snake. And there was a hint of madness in them.
You got a gun. I seen you reach for it. You just turn around now. Keep your hands up real high.
Sure. Why not?
Well, I take it now. That gun of yours. Like this.
Well?
Mm-hmm. Hey, is this a pretty one?
I'm glad you like it.
Now, you sit down right there on the floor.
Beside this?
Yes, sir, beside him. County, you the one that killed him, ain't you?
No, that's where you're wrong, old-timer.
Sit down. You see this gun? Sit down.
I guess I have no choice, have I?
You got no choice.
Okay. All right.
With both your hands, you keep them flat on the floor now. Go on.
You're holding the gun.
I know. Stay out in the swamp too long. All week I stay out in that swamp. I come back here to find my pal. Find you killed him. You killed Emmett Dehner.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah, so now...
No, I said wait a minute.
I killed
now,
you.
You take a good look at that body and you'll see that he's been dead for days. 4 or 5 days at the least.
You say that. Now, shut up.
So this is Emmett Dehner, hmm?
Yes, sir, my pal.
You're Waldo Blake?
I'm Waldo Blake.
Well, then you're his beneficiary.
I be his what?
You mean to tell me you didn't know Emmett carried a lot of insurance?
He never tell me that.
All right, then you listen to me.
Well, sure, I listen. But, don't you move from here now.
Look, I'm from the insurance company. Emmett Dennery's life was insured for $2,000. And if you're Lefty Blake, that money goes to you.
Wee! $2,000?
$2,000.
But, I know you're really from the insurance.
Would you like to see the money? All right, then, here.
Now, you be careful now.
All right.
I still got this gun right on you.
All right, here now. You just look through this wallet and see for yourself.
You just drop it gentle on the floor.
All right. Now, go ahead. Count the money.
Yes, sir. Only look. You ain't got no 2,000 here. You ain't got...
You ain't got no gun no more.
Let go me now.
Now, stay there. Right there in the corner, you crazy old coot, and don't move.
Now, you listen.
Now, you listen to me, and for your sake, I hope a coroner's examination doesn't show this man was murdered.
Murdered?
Yes, because you'd be the only suspect.
No, I never killed him. I didn't. I didn't.
Well, frankly, I don't think you did either. It was probably a natural death.
Well, yes, it really was. It really was.
You're sure of that?
Well, what I mean is...
Yes, you're sure, all right. That's what gave you the big idea, isn't it? You just couldn't miss a chance at that $2,000 insurance that you've been paying on all these years.
Me?
Yes, you. I knew there was something wrong the minute I saw this body because of that letter to the insurance office. Because it was only mailed yesterday, wasn't it?
Well, how should I know?
Stop bluffing now. It's a little late for that. That letter signed Emmett Dennery asking somebody to come out here was mailed only yesterday. But you know as well as I do, this man has been dead for 2-3 times that long. In other words, you wrote that letter in the hope we'd come out here and pay you off on the so-called death of Emmett.
Now.
Sure, with the two of you living out here alone, cut off from the rest of the world, nobody really ever sees you. You figured nobody know it was really Lefty. Lefty Blake who had died.
You can't prove it's Waldo?
Can't I? Well, let's see now. For a starter, let's take the laces on his high-top boots.
Huh?
The way they're tied, the direction of the knot. You ever see a right-handed man who tied a left-handed bow knot like this one? Let's see what else we can find.
No, that's enough. But don't you see, after all the years of me paying out on that insurance, having Waldo die first, nobody else to leave it to...
You could have cashed in that policy legitimately and probably have got back most of what you put into it. But now, after the switch you've tried...
Oh, me. What'll they do to me now?
For attempted fraud? Plenty. But that's up to the company.
Oh, Lordy, what will they do to me?
You better come along with me and find out. Emmett Dennery. So there you are, Earl. Like I said to the old rascal, it's up to the company now. As for the total on my expense account, let's wait until I can total up the cost of all the fishing we're going to do. Okay? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, here is our star to tell you about next week's story.
Before I do that, I'd like to extend a word of welcome to a new radio station joining the CBS radio network today. It's WNEB, Worcester, Mass., an important new link in our coast-to-coast family of CBS radio network stations. For WNEB listeners, starting with this broadcast, a Sunday workout with us, and throughout the week, the listening only the CBS radio network has to offer. Welcome, WNEB Worcester. Next week, a fishing guide who turns out to be a guide to murder. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is written by Jack Johnstone, produced by Bruno Zerato Jr., directed by Edward Oates, music supervision by Ethel Huber. Johnny Dollar is played by Mandel Kramer. Also featured in our cast were Martin Blaine as Earl Poorman, Bill Lipton as Ben, Jim Bowles as the Man. Be sure to join us next week, same time, same station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Art Hanna speaking. History from where it breaks, nightly in The World Tonight on the CBS Radio Network.
63 years ago, November 12th, 1961, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll have another yours truly, Johnny Dollar, tomorrow, but this time with Bob Bailey instead of Mandel Kramer. Have an episode of Suspense, Jeff Regan, Investigator, and Macabre. That's all coming up tomorrow. But right now, let's wrap up an adventure with Superman next.
If you are planning a new building, the architect can make inexpensive changes in his design to shield against the dangers of radioactive fallout. This technique is called design slanting, which simply means designing for added fallout protection without adversely affecting the use, appearance, or cost of a building. To learn more about slanting, contact your local civil defense director.
And we wrap up this Tuesday edition of Classic Radio Theater with an episode of Superman. This goes back 83 years, November 12, 1941, in the Silver Arrow.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
The bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
And now to our story. Shot in the back with a silver arrow by Jimmy Olsen's unknown assailant, as he was about to reveal the identity of the man whom he had been hiding in the ghost town, hopeful Jake, the aged prospector, has rushed back to Tumbleweed's ranch unconscious. The following day, Clark Kent, together with Jimmy, Tumbleweed, and Mary Lewis, went back to Dead Man's Gulch to help Mary find the fortune hidden there by her grandfather, the legendary Western Robin Hood known as the Silver Arrow. Their final clue led them to a place called the Cave of the Buffalo Bones, where Kent and Tumbleweed are now searching for the treasure. Meanwhile, in the weather-beaten building that was once a hotel, Jimmy and Mary saw a dust-covered portrait behind the sagging bar. And as they looked at it, the eyes in the painted face began to move. Mary became hysterical, and Jimmy escorted her back to the ranch. We join them now as they talk while waiting for the doctor to report on Hopeful's condition. Listen.
I guess you feel mighty proud that your grandfather was the Silver Arrow after hearing about all the swell things he did for people out here.
I am proud of him, Jimmy.
Gee whiz, Mary, wasn't it a lucky thing you found that letter in your mother's trunk? Now maybe you'll be a millionaire, or is it millionaire?
I don't know that I'll be either one. For all, we haven't found anything yet, and for all we know, if there ever was a buried fortune, somebody else may have stumbled on it long ago.
Oh, gosh, that would be awful. Do you think...
Dr. Mallory's coming out of Hopeful's room.
I sure hope he's got good news.
How is he, Doctor?
Will he live?
Yes, I'm sure he will.
Oh, thank heaven. May we go up to see him now, Doctor?
I think so, but please don't stay long and don't let him talk much. It'll tire him.
No, we'll just stay a few minutes. Come on, Mary. Oh, goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr.
Jimmy.
Mallory.
Goodbye, Mary.
All right, now, Jimmy. Remember what the doctor said about
Yeah,
him?
I won't make him talk. Hello, Hopeful.
Howdy, Evelyn. Howdy, Miss Mary.
Hello, Hopeful. How do you feel?
I feel like I've been skewered and readied for a barbecuing. Yeah, but it takes a lot to kill a McGarity. That's what I am.
Is that your real name?
Yep, Jacob Francis McGarity. That's my full handle. But folks never called me nothing but Hopeful.
Well, that's because you're always hoping to find gold, isn't it?
Yep. Always hoping to find something what folks say ain't.
I think you better leave now, Hopeful. The doctor...
No, wait. I got something to tell you. It's something important. Especially to you, Miss Mary.
Important to me? Yeah. Oh, but we can keep until later. Dr. Mallory said
I don't give a hoot what that old sawbone said. I got to get this off my chest now. I've been doing lots of thinking while that angel of death has been trying to make up his mind about me.
What's troubling you, Hopeful?
Well, like I told you last night, before I was plugged with that silver air, I've been hiding a man out at Dead Man's Gulch for many years.
Yes, you were going to tell us who he is.
No, I'm coming to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I gotta talk kind of slow, 'cause he's got all my natural strength. Well, this here yarn goes back many years, to the days just before the silver vein give out up at Dead Man's Gulch. One night I was a-setting in my shack, eating my supper, when I hear a horse coming along slow-like. I hear it stop. And then a hombre staggers up to my door, and before he gets to knocking, he folds up like an empty grain sack. I drag him into the shack,
While the wounded hopeful recounts to Jimmy and Mary a story that will reveal the identity of the mysterious inhabitant of the deserted mining town, Kent and Tumbleweed are standing in front of the Cave of the Buffalo Bones near Dead Man's Gulch, trying to solve the riddle of the third silver arrow.
Yeah, that's the fourth time I shot an arrow through that dang slit in the rock, and we ain't found nothing yet. That is, nothing but an empty hole in the floor of the cave.
I know, Tumbleweed, I know. I can't figure it out.
Mr. Kent, are you sure we followed them directions like it says in that poem?
Sure we did. It says face 7 to the south. We did that, didn't we?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, now, then face the east. Well, that's east where you've been shooting, isn't it?
Yep, due east.
Well, maybe it's the last part that's got to stop.
You mean about shooting this arrow where the sun shines least?
Yeah, sure. You see, whoever wrote that message neglected to say what time of day to shoot this arrow.
Don't get you, Mr. Kent. What you driving at?
Well, don't you see, Tumbleweed, the position of the sun keeps changing all day as it goes from east to west. That means it may shine east in different places as the hours go by.
Well, I'll be hog-tied. I'd have never thunk of that. Does that mean I gotta stand here and shoot this consarned silver arrow at different shady spots till sundown?
I'm afraid that's the only way we can...
Hey, what was that?
Sounds like somebody yelling help.
Well, there it is again, coming from the town.
That sounds like Jimmy. Come on.
How can it be Jimmy? He's back at the ranch with Mary.
Well, he's supposed to be there, but that's his voice. He must have come back for some reason.
He stopped yelling.
Something's happened to him. Come on. Came from in here.
It is Jimmy.
Take your hands off that boy.
Why, the old hombre's choking the lad.
I said take your hands off. There. Stand back to me while I teach this man a lesson.
No,
no
way. Let go, Consigny.
Why, that must be the fellow that tried to beat up Jimmy last night.
Yes. Who are you? What are you doing here?
It's none of your business. Get out of here and leave me alone. I don't like snoopers. You're all a snooping for something.
Tell us who you are, or we'll turn you...
Mr. Kent, don't do anything. I know who he is. Don't nobody know who I am. I don't believe nothing nobody says. Just go away and leave me alone.
Jimmy, how do you know who this man is? Who told you?
That's what I came here to tell you.
What do you mean?
I was looking for you in Tumbleweed in here when he came in and grabbed me before I could say anything to him. I don't believe nobody. Go away. Let me alone. I don't...
He fainted.
Yes. Poor old fella. Too much excitement, I guess. I'll put him down here. There we are.
Shall I go get some water?
No, I don't think so. I think he'll need any, Jimmy. He's coming around all right.
Jimmy, tell us who this hombre is before I bust wide open.
Well, his name is Bart Cummings.
Bart Cummings? Why, isn't that the name of Mary's grandfather?
That's who this man is, Mr. Kent.
Then he's the Silver Arrow?
Why, that can't be possible. The Silver Arrow died long ago. Mary said they hadn't heard from him since long before she was born. Where did you get this information, Jimmy?
Hopeful told Mary and me about it less than an hour ago. He told how this man came to him one day, half dead from bullet wounds, how he nursed him back to health.
Then what's he doing here, and why is he acting crazy like?
Well, Hopeful says Mr. Cummings sort of lost his mind after his accident and couldn't remember where he'd buried his fortune.
But he did remember that he had a fortune somewhere.
Yes, so Hopeful, hoping the Silver Arrow would someday find all that money, kept him hidden out here where he spent all his time searching.
And that's why old Hopeful got so darn rambunctious when we come out here to look for silver arrows.
Silver arrows. You better find silver arrows.
That's it. We've got what he's looking for. The silver arrows that point to his buried treasure.
Silver... Here. Where am I? Who are you?
We're your friends, Mr. Cummings. We're going to help you find your treasure.
Help me? How can you help me?
As soon as you've had a rest, we'll show you the 3 silver arrows you set out long ago to help locate your treasure. Then we'll help you find it.
Well, here's my new car, motor running and ready to go. Get in, Mr. Cummings.
Tumbleweed, I don't exactly know how to thank you for taking care of my granddaughter Mary and for everything else you done.
I can't tell you how grateful I am, too.
Oh, that's okay, Silver Arrow, Mr. Cummings and Miss Mary, but don't thank me. Mr. Kent and Jimmy and Hopeful have done everything for you.
Hopeful is the only one who really did a lot for Mr. Cummings.
You done thank me plenty.
That bag full of silver dollars ain't exactly no horse fodder.
You certainly look elegant, all decked out in your new mail-order clothes. Sure do look prosperous, too.
You reckon it do, sure enough?
Certainly do.
Ain't no use saying no more now. I reckon I can't never say enough to show you all how I feel inside.
Oh, 'twa'n't nothing at all. We had us lots of fun doing what we did. Hey, Jimmy?
Huh?
Oh, yes.
Why, Jimmy, what's the matter? Haven't you got anything to say even about Tumbleweed's new car?
Yeah, Jim. Ain't you going to say nothing about being the first to ride in it?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's swell.
I'm afraid Jimmy feels pretty bad about leaving here, but no more than I do, believe me.
Right.
I know, Jim, lad. Ain't none of you feel no worse than me, but you'll be coming back soon again, I hope.
Now, it's getting late, Tumbleweed. We'd better get going if we don't want to miss that train.
Reckon you're right, Mr. Kent. Come on, Hopeful. Get aboard.
No, I ain't a-going.
Hey, Hopeful, ain't you going to come and see me off? I'm going to kind of miss you, you ornery old coyote.
No, I can't go. Got work to do.
Work? What kind of work? Why, you can't do anything in those shiny new clothes.
I sure can. I got to go back to panning for gold in the creek. You can't never tell when I'll strike a bonanza.
But you know nobody's never found no gold there.
Well, that ain't nothing. I can keep on panning and hoping, can't I?
Goodbye.
And so, with Hopeful Jake returning to his hopin' and pannin', the mystery of the Silver Arrow is cleared up. Mary takes her aged grandfather, who has recovered his sanity as well as his fortune, to live with her in the East, as Jimmy and Kent return to the Daily Planet, where another, even more thrilling adventure awaits them. Don't fail to tune in again to hear the start of a new, exciting story with Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
83 years ago, November 12th, 1941, Superman here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. More crime drama tomorrow with suspense. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, Jeff Regan, investigator, macabre, and even scarier, Lum and Abner. That's coming up on Wednesday. Have yourself a great day. See you next time for more Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.